What is up, Discourse Syndicate people? This is the Hex Late Show. It's day 43 OG here with Hex Tangent, and we've got Jexa here as well.
Hey guys.
And let me see, have we got Blue Bum? Are you there, mate? Have we got you, Blue Bum? We'll see how that goes. Welcome to the Hex Late Show on the Discourse Syndicate. This is our first try. Hopefully we're streaming. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can see us all. We're up and live and kicking on the tubes.
Perfect. And I'm just waiting for Unwrecked Pirate if he can unfuck his shit.
I think we've got the full house tonight, haven't we? Pretty much.
Yeah, let's see
if we can get it all together.
Unwrecked, are you there, bro? Are you there, bro? Unwrecked, where are you?
He's been in the world. He's been in the wilderness for the last week. So I think he's just finally got back to civilization and no internet.
Yeah. Hey, so what a crazy few weeks it's been. Like
Sure
in Hex. Crazy few weeks. Like we sort of stopped streaming on our channel about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We took a bit of a breather.
Do you think that was when the pump started?
I think so.
Do you think it started because we stopped streaming?
Well, we're going to be able to track this, aren't we? We're going to have to see what happens with the price over the next few weeks.
Hopefully Tangent's got a chart that maps when we were on and lines it up with the price growth.
I don't
exactly.
I don't think I've got any annotated charts, but we could work it out.
What's up, guys, in the chat? We appreciate everyone. Welcome to Discourse Syndicate, the late show with your Australian crew. I'm bringing up Unwrecked Pirate for the third time. Let's see if he can if he makes it up this time. I'm seeing a black screen, unfortunately.
Not looking good.
Not looking good, Unwrecked. Not looking good. But yeah, how's that price? How is that price? What are we sitting on? I know we almost touched 10 cents.
We pulled back a bit this afternoon, but that looks like that little pullback hit a trend line and looks like it was getting ready to go again. But I haven't had a look in the last. It's got to be at least 5 minutes since I looked.
Richard mentioned it going near 10 cents in a tweet, but my chart doesn't show that. But obviously, there's multiple different charts for the price.
I saw
9.5 was the top of the wick.
I saw 9.95.
Yeah, I sent it just went below 10, and my young daughters were running around like lunatics. And, then it sort of settled down.
Does that mean they get a jet ski?
So I don't know if you've seen a tweet I done a few weeks ago. We've got a 10-cent box in our house. So if it hits 10 cents, everyone's allowed a wish, or they're granted 3 wishes actually.
Whoa.
Whoa. The youngest one is cashing in big time. Don't worry about that.
I bet. Yeah, that's actually quite a good idea. Hey, I'm actually glad my kids are too young to like know about that, because I know my eldest would be just lining up things. Like he lines up things for his birthday. Like he's already got like a whole like 3 or 4 things that he wants for his birthday. So
right. It's awesome. Like as a tool for teaching kids about finance. So all the fun and stuff we have around it's pretty cool. But there's a serious side to it as well. And my younger daughter, she's like, we're sitting down talking about exponential growth and compounding interest and all this. And she's 12 years old, and we're sort of, because I've done a series of stakes for them, and the first one comes out in sometime next year. And I've got them staked right out to 15 years. And she was dead keen to pull out the first one and wants to just go blow that. So we're having a bit of a chat about, okay, but this is how you create an ongoing income, and don't have to take it all. We just take the bit off the cream off the top. And after we had that conversation, she's like, yeah, I get it now. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm sort of using it as a tool to teach them a lot of things as well, which is pretty nice. Hopefully they'll. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say there's an Einstein quote that a couple of people have been pumping out lately. That's something along the. I didn't check whether this is legit, but I assume it's right. That Einstein is quoted as saying that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world.
Yep, that's true.
So
Those who,
in terms of its mystery and power, and so
is it there? Day 43 knows the next bit to it.
I think I know the next bit. Those who, it goes like those who earn it, blah blah blah. Like those who earn it, and then those who don't.
Yeah,
Something else. I don't know.
yeah,
You should look it up,
the
eh?
general gist was that you got to be on the right side of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I've got to look that up. Hey, that's pretty shoddy. We're on the Discourse Syndicate now. We have to get these things right.
You can't be so tardy.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Sure can.
Yeah. How you going, mate?
Awesome. Yeah, excellent,
Welcome.
excellent. You know, I think Einstein's actually a bit overrated. I'm going to be a bit contrarian here. I'm going to be.
Go on.
Answer me this.
Riddle me this.
Practically, what did Einstein do for humanity? What did he do to help people's lives in any practical way?
relativity.
And he done a fair bit on quantum mechanics as well.
How does that help you?
That's how all your phones work. That's all silicon chips and everything.
Yeah. I think it was a fundamental underpinning of many scientific discoveries afterwards.
Relativity. It's got nothing to do with relativity, how your phones work.
No, quantum mechanics and
Yes.
Yeah, and what quantum
Quantum
mechanics have done? Nothing.
Well,
that's a pretty bold statement, man.
If Einstein did nothing else, right? He had this quote: "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it,
I've got to.
he who doesn't pays it." That's it.
He's good for a good quote, and he's good for a good pick. I'll give him that.
And that's
Generous, buddy. That's generous.
he had a great hairstyle. Didn't he?
Okay, I'm going to put this down to the fact that we've got a thought leader now, like Richard Hart, that recalibrates your expectations for people in the past, where you're like, actually, compared to Richard, you know what? Einstein ain't shit, and that might actually be correct. That relative to Richard, Einstein ain't shit, but he, I think.
Is it safe to say? Sorry.
Science builds. So I think if his work hadn't been there, it would have either delayed or disallowed many future discoveries and progress in science.
Yeah, for sure. So
I think that's a fair comment. Yeah.
So, do you think Hex is the ninth wonder of the world?
Oh, Hex is. I wouldn't even put it on the same scale. Hex is in a class of its own.
Maybe we can start that rumor here.
Someone was saying, like, the difference between a discovery and an invention. So a discovery is something that was always there and you just find it, whereas an invention is something that you create, right? So you invent something new, or you discover something that existed. And so people were talking about how crypto is arguably more of a discovery than an invention, because it was, I guess, it was able to be used. It just wasn't being used.
Hey, how's the sapper? I don't get him on that bloody gravity. What a con that is.
But that was Newton. That was Newton.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, that was Newton.
I know, but he took it. So Newton sort of came up with the concept, but it was Einstein that actually figured out gravity.
Explained it.
Yeah. Put the maths behind it, I think.
The way I like to think about it is that each scientific discipline is just the best model or best explanation at the time, and then you constantly revise and upgrade those models. When you find something that breaks the existing model, like Newtonian physics got broken, and then you have, you know, sort of more modern day like electromag and quantum mechanics. So you just use, it's just a model to describe the universe until a better model comes.
Do we understand it more?
Until it gets, until something disproves it.
Yeah.
Until something comes along.
And provided, as long as it's enough for you to do engineering at the time, then that's enough. As long as, so a basic physics that is now obsoleted, as long as it allowed them to construct buildings and pipelines and whatever society needed at the time, then that model was obviously accurate enough for the calculations that underpinned those inventions.
Hey, I just want to jump in there and say g'day to the guys in the chat. We've got quite a few people on. So let me just go through and say who we got. We've got Nas Hex, we've got Crypto Gains Club, we've got Stephen, we got our very own Sammy Chica. What's up, Sammy?
Hey,
we got Maddie C85. We've got who we got? We got Hexy Babe. We've got Super Hex, Squiggly Frank, Jay Everything. Who else we got? We got Nicholas Luciano, iBaseline, Your Hexcellence. Quite a few people. We've got the Sapper. We've got Jace S, Hex Live, Cienzuf. How you going, buddy? He's one of our own as well.
We're on
Hands
Twitch as well. There are we? We've got a few coming in from Twitch and a few from YouTube.
Yep. We've got some on Twitch as well. Yep, that's it. And we got Media Bear. So,
Welcome,
guys.
So how many places are we streaming to now? Like, where are we on the actual Discord Syndicate?
This is our maiden
network
voyage.
now?
Yeah, this is our maiden voyage, mate. And let me just see if I can get the Unwrecked Pirate up. Unwrecked Pirate, can you hear us? Unwrecked Pirate.
I think he's going to struggle tonight.
Day 43 to Unwrecked Pirate. Day 43 to Unwrecked Pirate.
He's going AWOL.
Nope.
He's under the sheet.
It's so Nicholas has got a comment there. We bring that one up. I brought Hex when it was 0.001. So I was having a chat with one of my friends the other day, and he said, "When did you buy it?" And we were trying to figure out how many zeros were in front of it when the day one guys were in. I can't remember what it was now. Does anyone have any clues how many zeros there were? It was 0.000056 or something, wasn't it? It was about 4 zeros.
I think it was 4 zeros.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.000056.
So we've come a long, long way. And I think back then, 10 cents, most people would have thought was dreamland, I think, in what's that been, 18 months or something? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there would be people that thought that Hex would never get to 10 cents, like that it would just not go there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And
I didn't think it was going to get here so quickly, and I'm not in any way a bear. I'm not a bear. I'm like so bullish on Hex. I just didn't think it was going to get here so quickly. So I'm so amazed. I'm so glad. I'm so pleased with the community and what they're doing. They're just out there, and it's a great community as well. Like a great community of people who get involved and are trying to do the best they can to spread the word on Hex, and what a difference it is in the crypto space. I mean, and Hex doesn't get the respect it deserves yet. It doesn't get the respect it deserves. It deserves a lot of respect.
Do you think we're starting to see that start to break down now?
I think so.
Happening?
Just
I
like
think
the thin edge of the wedge.
I can feel it just sort of just chipping away now, and all you need is just a few more little chips and then a few cracks, and then once people feel like they can talk about it without having to pre-frame anything they say, I think that's going to be a big changer. and it's the crypto, everyone that's already in the crypto space that has been the gatekeepers and putting so much pressure on this. Everyone I've spoken to outside of crypto, they don't give a shit. They don't have any of the hang-ups about what the industry infight's about and all the tribalism. They just look at it and go, fuck yeah, I'm in it. Look at it. Hold this, goes up, and I get interest. Like, they get it. So
yeah,
we don't actually need all the incumbents in crypto to get it.
We just replace them. We just replace all that shit. We don't have to get their approval. That's the whole point of DeFi, right? You just replace that old useless shit. And that's what Hex is doing. And that's what I hope that Pulse is going to do. I'm feeling pretty excited that the launch is imminent. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah. Can I make a big comment, actually? You know how Hex encouraged, and I know this anecdotally for myself, removing Bitcoin from exchanges because you had to have the private keys for the claim? I think the biggest thing that Pulse is going to do is it's going to do the same, like as in the same, but now it's for all ERC20s. Everyone's going to be doing basically proof of keys for all ERC20s, all Ethereum, and etc. And it also is encouraging people to look at what is true DeFi, because the things that come across that are not true DeFi, if there's admin keys, etc., is not going to function correctly over on Pulse. So I just think that if all that Richard did for me in my entire crypto journey was those two things, encouraging me to basically to be more vigilant with key management and holding your own crypto, and investigating more deeply what is true DeFi that doesn't have bullshit admin keys, that's huge. That is huge.
Yeah, I think you're right. And everyone gets lazy and they leave shit on exchanges. And it wasn't until
you need an incentive.
Thing. I had to get it off to claim the Bitcoin. And then once I'd done that, I went, I should just be doing this all the time. So then I got in a really good habit of, you just get used to doing it. Now it actually feels odd to move things to an exchange for me.
Yep.
I do everything decentralized as I can. And it's only when I really have to go back to an exchange that I'll go back there, and it's literally go there, do what I need to do, get off again. I've seen, even in this last couple of days, I've been helping a lot of people. A couple of things I've seen is people still, new guys to the space, are still leaving so much on exchange. And now we're talking about Pulse. I'm actually helping them get all their ERC20s and everything off and into their wallet. So it's happening again. So that's really good. But one of the big things I'm seeing at the moment is, especially with on-ramp exchanges, is funds getting locked. People can't access their funds so often, and it's just crazy.
And you only find out when you go to withdraw that exchange is a dog and won't let you get your funds.
No, these are reputable Aussie exchanges as well, like one leg in the financial world, one leg in the crypto space, and just locking down your funds and needing to prove your income. After they've taken your funds, you've got to prove income so you can unlock your funds.
It's more than just know your customer.
Yeah. These guys are going way above and beyond. And literally, if you deposit a small amount, you've got to jump through some hoops with KYC, which is fair enough. But then you can't withdraw your funds, so they'll let you deposit, but then you can't withdraw until you go through another level.
Yeah.
And then if you do anything above 50K, they literally lock it down until you show them source of earnings. Where the funds have come from.
I think that's disgusting to not be transparent with the user on what all the requirements are from the start. So if you let someone deposit funds to your exchange before alerting them clearly as to what is going to be the requirements, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I've written a new one because I said you were willing to take my money. But now you're going to lock my funds and make me jump through all your hoops. And I was like, that's just bullshit.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit.
Yeah. So in that instance, I did have to actually provide proof just so I could get my shit off the exchange and get it out. But I was also in the process of setting up corporate accounts as well, and I just walked away from them at that point and went somewhere else.
My opinion on this also applies to even if they change the rules at some point. So this happened to me with Bittrex. They changed the rules on what the deal was, but they didn't give people warning. They didn't say, "Hey, we've got an upcoming rule change. If you don't like the sound of this, here's the window where you can just take all your funds off the exchange." They just changed the rules and then just said, "Hey, you need to do this, otherwise we're keeping your funds."
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I tried to make a fuss about it at the time on Twitter.
That was when they started taking USD or something, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Was that when they started accepting USD?
So this is going back quite a while, and I think it was basically they were basically upgrading how much information they needed for KYC and stuff like that. So it was ass covering, which I get why they did it.
They have to do it. Yeah.
I just hated the fact that they didn't give any warning, and then it was basically too late. You've got the option of either bending over to their new requirements or losing your funds, which for most people they don't want to do either.
So is it L baseline or I baseline? So that Aussie exchange, and I don't mind outing these guys because they've given me the shits. It's not just me; they've done it too. I help a lot of people. And they're all getting in the same position. So it's SwiftX. I don't know if you've
SwiftX.
Heard of SwiftX. Yeah.
I do use them for one of the things that I do.
Yeah. So put a decent chunk of funds in there and see what happens.
Huh.
Yeah, they held they wouldn't let me withdraw my money.
Yeah, it's happening to everyone, man. So
what?
Yeah,
and then you can't speak to anyone. It's like an AI bot central, and you just get kicked around with all these automated questions. And then it was something to do with
what's the name?
Just randomly, they just decided not to release the money.
SwiftX. So don't use SwiftX.
Swift
they won't give you your money.
So
they're going to do the opposite of what you use them for. They're going to take your money, but they won't let you have it back. So don't use it.
So you can deposit your funds, and they'll let you trade into something, and then you won't be able to get it out. And they had a person I was helping on a weekly basis, funds locked for a month, and just through other people I know I reached out to the CTO or the CEO it was, and got a nice quick response, and they helped this guy. But that was after a month of him trying to deal with that bloody AI bot thing. But I've spoken to him on the phone personally before and told him that it's not cool what they're doing, but they don't change. So I think that's just stay away from them, guys. I wouldn't use them.
It might be worth mentioning that my account is not a personal account; it's for a fund.
That's probably different.
So, and I haven't ever had problems with withdrawing, and so maybe they treat that differently. If they were to mess around with a fund, they're going to be more likely to get, legal. So they'll do that to individuals, but not because I haven't had a problem so far. But that could just be I could have just been lucky, but that concerns me a lot.
Yeah.
Can I ask? I just want to ask Blue Bum. Are you there, mate?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? I heard some chatter that you might be doing an interview with someone in the not too distant future. Do you have any news on that?
Yeah. Basically, it's set up for Tuesday, and it's just it's just like a kind of. It's an Australian YouTuber who's kind of prominent in the finance property world, and so that's set up on Tuesday, and I'm not sure when he'll release it or anything like that, but that's been set up
for in a week's time.
Yeah,
fantastic. I look forward to that, mate, and we'll have to pump it out there on the Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, what do you guys reckon happened? Like, how come? Like, it used to be Poloniex and Bittrex was just the two exchanges that everyone used. Like, what happened to it? Like, and how come everyone?
No, they're still around. Oh yeah, Poloniex is pretty big.
Right.
Yeah.
So Bittrex, I thought Bittrex only did. I thought they didn't do fiat, like onboarding and offboarding.
No, they do now.
Yeah, they started off crypto to crypto. Yeah. They were crypto to crypto. I'm not sure if they do it now.
No, I'm pretty sure they got USD now.
They do. Yeah, I haven't looked at them for a year or two, but I remember when
they both still exist. I think I've still got accounts there, but they're just empty. And I think the thing that kills an exchange or puts demand over onto a different exchange, like say FTX or something that's quite popular at the moment, is coin selection. user support and liquidity, definitely. So if there's just illiquid pairs where it's just impossible to move in and out of positions, then people will move away. So exchanges need to really ensure that those, in fact, I would say probably user support is not as important as liquidity. People want their trading experience there to be good, and they're probably usually willing to sacrifice because look at say something. There are exchanges that are actually quite popular that people claim they have shit support.
We have a request here. We've got Nicholas Luciano, and he's asking why Hex is so good. So why is Hex so good? Can we please discuss it now?
Too many things to list for this.
Who wants to have a
Can we just all do our favorite? Should each person say their favorite?
Yeah, let's starting with you, mate. Let's go.
Starting with me.
Yep. I'll start if you like. I'll start.
No selfies, no KYC, no begging exchanges for your money back. That's all really the same thing, and it's kind of what we've been talking about. That for me is very important.
Yep.
Self-sovereignty. Yep.
Jexter.
It's actually true. Like there's no. It is truly.
There's no person running it. It's contract. It just operates by itself, and it's going to continue to operate, and it's as simple as that. Jexter.
For me, it would have to be the fact it's the golden goose. So my background has been in investment and property development for the last 15, 20 years, and an asset which goes up, appreciates in capital value and gives you a yield is hard to come by. Something that's really good is hard to come by. When it's an asset that is part of a class, which is the highest appreciating asset that I think man has seen at the moment, that is a match made in heaven. So you've got something that just rockets up in capital value, but pays you a yield for holding it, and allows you to set up streams of income however you like, monthly, bloody daily when we get on Pulse. That is very unique and very hard to find. And to find that in the property world, you have to invest vast amount of capital to be able to play in that space. It's capital intensive to be able to find assets like yielding assets like commercial buildings or even bloody residential for that matter. You've got to stump up a lot of money to be able to play in that game. Whereas Hex, you can do that once we move on to Pulse, it will literally be with a couple of $100 you'll be able to get into that game and do that. That's pretty unique. And like I said, you don't need anyone's permission to do it. Yep.
Unwrecked.
Yeah, boys. I had technical faults at the start there. Was that my network? But can you hear us okay in that now?
Yep. Yeah,
you're perfect, mate.
That's all right then.
Tell us, what's the best thing about Hex?
Well, it's awesome for a start. It's doing everything right. And basically, if you want to be the bank, you want to be your own bank. You know, that's what the thing that I like the most about it is the game theory. I think it's like around that synthetic stakes and shares mechanism. I find all that stuff really fascinating. Now, I'm not a technical person or understand I'm learning from you guys. Actually, is the honest truth. So, you know, we have that's all I'd say. If you like to remove a middleman and be in charge of your own sovereignty, and you know, you run the code, and like the stakes and the staking mechanism is the best. Like they've obviously come out and they're ahead of the curve on all these other staking coins and whatnot. And it's, I don't know. Look at the chart. I mean, look at the chart. That's all I'd say.
We are going to shortly.
We will, yeah. Look at the chart compared to everything else. More importantly.
Yeah, exactly. Blue Bum, tell us, Blue Bum, what's in your opinion? What is the best thing about Hex?
The best thing about Hex, undoubtedly, is that it's designed to go up in price, and it's working, resoundingly. And even better than that is that even people who are coming new to it, there is always going to be the same value proposition. Like, because of the shares mechanism, it doesn't matter if you're coming in year 1, in year 2, in year 5, or year 2.
Whoops,
Lost him.
he's out.
What he's saying is that there's always a value proposition for Hex, no matter when you buy in, and that's
It's always
yeah.
And,
Even-
because he's not here, I want to say it for him.
he's
Hex,
back.
He's
Hang on,
back.
he's back. Let him say it himself. We know it.
You there, Bluey?
Are you there?
What is it? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was
what
just
is it?
about to steal
What
your
was the
line
last-
about Hex. Can you say your final piece about Hex and what you've been saying lately?
Well, just the best thing is that it doesn't matter when you come to it. It's always going to be a great value proposition. You're going to be able to chuck your money in, and then, like, if you spend your time in the system, you'll gain out of it. Like, it's about doing your time.
And what about
it rewards people?
and what about
delayed
Hex
gratification,
compared to
and it harnesses.
what about Hex compared to all other cryptos, Blue Bum? Are you
Well,
there?
it's people are locking it up. They're taking out the supply. If the demand stays the same or goes up, price goes up. It's so simple. And like,
Jexa.
you can't do that with any other crypto.
I'm gonna steal your thunder here, buddy. I've been trying to prompt you for it. Hex is the apex predator.
Hex is the
right,
apex
yeah.
predator. It certainly is.
It is.
Apex.
So yeah,
that's
everyone's
a-
made really good points there. And look, my feature that I like about Hex is I like the good accounting feature. I love that feature. I think that's fantastic. I used it not too long ago myself, and it was perfect. It saved me a little bit of trouble. So that's my favorite feature of Hex. That's my favorite feature of Hex, but it does so many things well that I could just crap on about it nonstop.
So what's going on then? We're talking about Hex. What's going on here? What's the story? What are we doing? Are we changing channels?
We're about to go and look at the chart. So I've got the chart here, but let's have a look.
I don't know if that's just me. Is that a bit pixelated, or is that just on my end?
I was muted. Sorry about that. This is Hex against US dollar. As you guys know, we've continued to make new all-time highs. So the price predictability, we refer to this these fib extensions. So we've actually gone above this one now, which was at the sort of just above 8.5 cents, and you can see we've actually retested it as well. And so basically, we're now predicting that we're going to go to 12 cents. That's really the next, actually, I guess you could argue 10 cents because of the whole, people who believe that big evens can be resistance as well. So you could argue 10 cents and then 12 cents would be the resistances. So on this chart, I've also drawn this gray line here, gray color for the moon, being a possible parabola that we've started moving in. And what else? So, so let's go down to like a lower time frame, like 4 hour. You can see that through here, we're basically moving in these horizontal channels for a while. And then once we came out of them, we've been making these really strong uptrends. So this was the massive one where we went from, no, not even, the massive one was the other time from like 1.5 cents up to freaking 7 or whatever it was. But this here is these strong up moves with these corrections is great. So you could assume right now this was another correction, like another minor corrections and now we're going for more upside. I don't really see anything to stop Hex from continuing to move up. One thing I was explaining the other day on my stream is that making
Hex is fucking everything you said. You're like, Hex is just getting more bitches than anyone, and no one can keep up with Hex.
That's actually a direct quote. I did say that.
That's what I.
Well,
That's
no,
what I
well-
heard you say. That's what I heard you say.
What was the final bit? Something about this much sexual misconduct.
That's it. Yeah, sexual misconduct. That's it.
Ah, you'll be cracking up, man.
That was gold. That was gold. That was gold. Tangent. There's no.
I try to keep it so much more professional when I'm on other people's streams, though. But yeah, that was loose. I stand by everything that I said, and so yeah, basically making new all-time highs or being near existing previous all-time highs, particularly when there was a big gap in time from the old all-time high to the current one, is very, very, very bullish. It's the opposite of what noobs think, because they think, oh, this is the most expensive the asset's ever been. It's probably too expensive or overpriced. It's the opposite. You get super bullish at all-time highs, breaking all-time highs. That's bullish.
Yeah.
So, and if we use that, that's a good segue to flip over to this ETH chart. This is a daily, and look, this was the previous all-time high from back in November of last year. And so the difference in the two charts is obviously to do with the ETH price now being a lot higher than it was back then. So basically, if you look over here, we are effectively at the previous all-time high close right now as we speak. So this is a very, very, very bullish time for Hex, that we are over previous all-time high on the dollar pair and at the previous all-time high. Oh, sorry, did that just drop back down?
Yeah, I remember you showing us that before. That one, yeah.
Yeah,
There was that potential for that to go up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I did call this, if you will, on the channel, basically saying that we could go up to this next, that next resistance. But previous all-time high. Even though when you use a fib retracement tool like this, it puts a line at the previous all-time high. Typically, that doesn't really resist the price that much because it's never been used as support. It's only been used as a resistance, and only that one time. But zooming into the 1 hour chart here, you can see that for this whole period here, we're in this very strong ascending channel. This is on a log scale. That's why it doesn't look why the sides don't look quite parallel. But you can see we stayed in this, and then once we broke out of this channel, we made this up move into the next resistance level, and now we're in this ascending channel here. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we're just going to ride this thing until it's time to basically break out again, make new all-time highs against ETH, and follow the moon parabola up to the next. The next significant resistance against ETH is 50% higher in price than where we are now, or where that resistance level is.
That's from a fib extension, is it?
That's from the fib extension. I'll zoom back out so you can see that. So basically, this is back to the daily. So what we were just looking at then. Wait, I'm going to bring this down. So that 50%. That 50% gain that we have potential of seeing, and I know that sounds insane, that Hex could go another 50% from where it is now against ETH with relative ease, but the TA says that it's not just possible, it's likely. That would be our next significant resistance up at quadruple 057 or 568. Against ETH, but that could be, this move could be coupled with ETH crashing in price.
Yeah,
so that we could come up here, and the price in dollars of Hex might not be necessarily 50% higher, because what's 50? So that would be, so we wouldn't necessarily need to be at 15 cents. We could be at, like, I don't know. And in fact, on my stream, I was saying that these two things could coincide. We could come up to the 12-cent mark, and also up to this level of ETH, assuming that the ETH price dropped off a bit, and we could be hitting those levels at the same time, Yeah.
Would ETH even need to drop off to do that, though? If we just went up to 12.5, we would push up that high, would we not?
For us to hit those lines, for us to hit those resistances at the same time, we would require ETH to pull back a bit.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary. We can get there at different times.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The overall point is that it's bullish on both pairs, on ETH.
Have you got a BTC chart?
Do you
that
mean
a bit-
hex against
Yeah,
USDC?
that's probably pulled back a little bit because Bitcoin's had a bit of a run the last day or two.
No, I actually do. On Yobit, you can trade hex against BTC, but Yobit is not on TradingView.
Yeah, I have to have a look. I'll see. I thought I had a
I
chart.
mean, you can create custom charts though. So
yeah, I thought we
could-
had one already though. Let me just have a quick squeeze. You keep talking. I'll see if I can find it.
So yeah, so basically, I mean, I've got my moon parabolas on both charts, guys. At the moment, we're above the parabola. Where we could actually pull back a bit and still be in this parabolic up move. I mean, that parabola looks nice to me. From all the way back here. But you also keep in mind that when we go fully parabolic, then we're going to be in for a pullback. So that's one thing that's been really nice about the way that the hex price has been moving over the last few weeks is it hasn't been these sudden pumps that are not sustainable. We've just had this grinding price action where it just continues to grind upwards. And when that happens, it means you're building all of these support levels below on various different time frames, so that if we do have a pullback, you've got plenty of support. And you've seen that in action where the price really hasn't collapsed drastically at any point. It's just been, this is the 4 hourly. We've just been making our way up. There's a few red candles in there. This was a bit of a pullback here a couple of days. What was that? A couple of days ago. I'm sure that scared a few people, but yeah, it's just, typical market structure, and it's great. You definitely wouldn't want it to be any other way. This is perfect for anyone that's holding hex.
We haven't seen that
I would
ridiculous
agree with
kind
that.
of hockey stick.
Yeah, not yet.
Well, we were only dreaming of where we're at now, and like by the sounds of what you're saying, Tangent, we're just getting started. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm not just saying this for hex. It's any asset class when you are approaching or breaking previous all-time highs.
Yeah.
And that was my other comment about it matters the gap back to the previous all-time high. So
That's that cycle. Yeah.
the fact that this was actually quite a while ago, that was late 2020. So it's, over 6 months ago. We're talking, 8 months, over 8 months of when we made this high. This is significant that we're coming up against this high again. And if we can break it, get on top of it and turn it into support, I will be even more bullish. I'm already very bullish, and I'll be even more bullish. This is, yeah.
Hey, Tangent, it wasn't so long ago that we were like umming and ahhing about those, those low points, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, maybe in early, let me see was it in January?
I remember that. Yeah.
It was, we were wondering whether that was like, it was the, that was going to be the end for, the hex ETH pair. It was just going to look like it was just going to keep going down. And
I was expressing concern whenever we were approaching or below the depth of the big payday dump. So is my chart still showing? So
yes.
This was the big payday dumps or dumps. This was around the time of big payday, I believe. Yep, November.
Yeah.
And so I was expressing concern when we were down between this yellow and red line, creating these bottoms, which obviously now we know they're bottoms, but at the time I was concerned that if we broke down below this, effectively for the exact same reason of why I'm bullish as hell now that we're at and breaking all-time highs, and you're bullish in that scenario, when you're breaking all-time lows, that's incredibly bearish. So I was concerned down here, and obviously there was no cause for concern. We did form this double or triple bottom, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Wow. Well, certainly looks like getting traction.
So this was even before Pulse the Pulse news came out, though. Really.
Mhm. Yeah.
So this chart has been forming over a period of time, and even just the formation where we got up to that ascending triangle, and then we had the break. Even before Pulse was known, there was a few of us that were predicting prices like 12, 13 cents around this time of year.
Yeah, you were one of them, Jackson. You said
I put it out there for.
That was good video too. That, and I thought, no worries.
I
makes
had
sense.
it about 13.5 cents.
Yep.
And I gave myself a bit of fudge factor. I said by July. I thought it would be earlier, but I said by July. But I think this has obviously put the rocket boosters under it. And
You're on track.
I'll take it anyway. But it's this has definitely put the rocket boosters under it with a lot more conviction, which could mean that my 13.5 cents will pale in comparison to where it could go, just off the back of that natural move anyway. And the thing we're really seeing, and I don't know if you guys have been dropping into the Pulse Telegram chat, that room is just going ballistic. That has had faster growth than the Hex room ever did. The rate at which new people coming into that room, I think it slowed down the last couple of days, but it was easy 400 or 500. So in the past 24 hours, there were 2,000 people purchasing Hex. Yeah. So you can see it in the Pulse chat. There's a lot of new people coming in to find out about Pulse and the airdrop, and then finding out about Hex as well, and some of their preconceived ideas or things they'd heard previously are now starting to be a little bit remolded, and they're starting to find out a bit of the truth, and they're asking questions about why is it not ranked on Coin Market Cap, and so all that is just going to eventually open the floodgates, and at some point in time they're going to have to put that on the front page. They're going to get that much heat if they don't, and when that happens, that is going to be insane.
Coin Market
There's an
Cap?
assumption in that, Jexa, and the assumption is that they don't become obsolete.
Well, I think they are. Because
they will just become obsolete if they are not putting the right information. It might take a little while, but they will not be a reliable source for people to go
they're not
to.
a source of truth anymore. I think that's been shown. They are not a source of truth. Like, I still use their site because they do have features that no other ranking site has, so I go there to use those. But whenever I'm doing my day-to-day stuff, it's always Nomics that I go to, and that's where everyone is starting to get redirected to when they come into Pulse chat. So they're actually starting to see the truth in the numbers now, which is a good thing. So you get a whole fresh wave of buyers coming.
So Colorado's asking, are you guys taking questions? If they're questions relating to Hex, of course.
Yeah. I've seen someone asking about accountant questions. I'm not even going to touch that on.
Why did Day 43? You said you've used the good accounting feature, and why do you think that's the best? Why do you think that? What's that? Why is that your favourite thing? Is that to sort of minimise your tax exposure or your liability around taxation, or what's that about?
Well, the way, so we'll get into specifics. The way staking works in Hex is you actually burn your coins. So those coins don't exist anymore. Yeah. And when you end your stake, you mint your coins. So I guess the good accounting feature to me is fantastic because you don't actually mint your coins. So you're not actually causing a taxable event. You're not minting your coins.
Gotcha.
And that is something that if the ATO was to, like, and I'm going to talk about in Australia, if they were to say no, this is a taxable event, I think you would have a very, very strong case.
On what? What can they? You don't have anything.
Exactly. You don't exactly. You haven't minted your coins. So and that's a very important point. So if someone tried to say that, oh no, you could have ended stake or whatever, I think that would be a very easy argument to win if it did go anywhere, Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to get too far into the weeds on taxation things because it's a grey area and everyone's got a different opinion and a different view. And
everyone's situation's different as well.
That's
Everyone's
right.
got different structures. Everyone's got different, so
Yep. So go get good advice. That's all I can say.
go get good advice. Absolutely.
So if you don't like the advice you're getting, go get better advice.
But I thought that was interesting what you were saying, and we were having a conversation recently about the potential for that minting of coins to be a taxable event and force users to sell like 25% of their coins that they've just minted, which I don't agree with, because like that hurts. That's bad for the system as well. Like you know what I mean? Just to cover your tax liability. Day 43, you were talking about that. 25% of your coins.
Look, I think that we can't talk in specifics here because everyone's situation is different. So it's not going to really help anyone if we start talking about like numbers like that, Unwrecked, because everyone's different. Everyone's got,
right.
And also our audience is not like a lot of
Yeah.
people watching will be in different tax jurisdictions. So there's no point us going into the weeds on that. We can save that for our personal conversations, and if anyone's got any questions, they can ask us. But I'll probably dodge it.
Yeah. Now, if anyone's got other things they want us to have a chat about, by all means, fire in the questions.
So what's the go? We're on Discourse Syndicate now, are we? We're over here doing the joining the Discourse Syndicate network. So shout out to RG3, and he's got to step up his bandana game, mate. Like if he wants to be like top dog.
I heard. I saw you. You're back in the cutthroats, Unwrecked.
Yeah, cap in hand. I sort of.
Yeah. Did you do some groveling?
No, I missed it a little bit. No, I did miss it a little bit. Yeah, it was one of the rooms that I sort of frequent, and I do like all the guys in there. So it's a bit of fun. And so I just thought I needed a break. I just needed to walk away from crypto altogether, basically, for a bit, just to clear my head and do other things, and focus on what's important with keeping my business and everything going, and things like that. And so, but now I've been like, it's just been amazing, the Hex journey so far, isn't it? Like,
I think you've got to do that, mate. You can just get so absorbed in this space, and although most hexagons aren't trading, they're not standing there battling over a screen all day, but there's a lot of good things to look at, and you've got all the YouTube streams, you've got all the different things with the share rates and all the cool graphs and charts that Wales and all the other guys are putting together, Gerardo. So there's a lot to keep you engaged. Yeah. And you can spend hours a day trolling through things and all the Telegram channels and all that. So I think you've done the right thing, man. Just get up, walk away, and
couldn't keep up with it. Couldn't keep up with everything that was going on. I don't know if I just felt like I don't know if I had anything to add value in with like talking to you guys and that. Like, you guys are all real smart and experienced in crypto, and I suppose in crypto dog years I've been around that long. So just incredibly lucky to or astute enough to listen to Richard Hart and do what he recommends. And it's the same now. Like, I've watched his stream just today, and he talking about, he just says it like it is. So, I think he's on a mission, to prove everyone wrong. So yeah.
So there's someone in the chat just wondering why Hex, or I guess crypto in general, is not a pyramid scheme. Look, I think you've got to understand that what a pyramid scheme is. A pyramid scheme involves multi-level marketing, and crypto for the most part doesn't have that. It's just buyers and sellers. It's just an open market, an open free market
within the crypto space, but it's crypto by definition is not a pyramid scheme. So someone could create a scam or a scheme within crypto, but you can't say that crypto is intrinsically a scam or is a pyramid scheme. And you're right, the definition is the levels. You need people at the top of a pyramid get enriched by the people that are below them, and the money sort of trickle up economics So,
Yeah.
and that doesn't happen.
What you still notice, even though you can form your own tokenomics when you launch a coin, most scams that come about are still multi-level marketing based, where they're not targeting the guys that are full into crypto. They're targeting on the fringes where people are coming in that are new to crypto, and I see it so many times with guys that I help out where they still end up in MLM type arrangements. I don't know why they're so successful.
Yep.
But they drag him in, and they drag in a lot of money. And so it's you think it's crypto is the tool that's doing it, but it's not. They've got an MLM that they're just putting this new crypto thing into as a new product that they flog to everyone. And
then they rinse and repeat. But it's amazing though. I think could we sort of like put any analytics around? Okay, has Hex actually? I know for my case, for example, getting into crypto I'll stay in crypto now because I've done so well with Hex. But what about can we say that Hex has actually done what it was supposed to do in terms of sucking the economic energy out of the scams? Because there's still people getting wrecked all the time, eh?
Oh, good point. That was one of the aims, wasn't it? To sort of...
Yeah, well, it was like we're using their technique to suck their lifeblood out of them.
How many rug pulls do you think you've been saved from for being in Hex?
Oh,
how much shit would have you traded if...
I couldn't have imagined the gains that I've seen. If I hadn't witnessed it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. But trading coins on Bybit and all those other places, you're never going to do what Hex has done, are you? You just buy it because
I think also Unwrecked might also be talking about in terms of not just for an individual, like how much an individual has not been scammed, but
that's what I mean.
For the general space, how much less.
So that's what I was saying. So I was saying it was a general question, and we've all been around a little bit, so we've seen all the good and the bad. But even knowing that, if you hadn't had your energy focused on Hex for the last 18 months, what other shit might have you got involved in?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a game changer. It's changing lives, and it's like as Hex Tangents was saying, it's just smashing him. It's just smashing the bitches as it goes through. Nothing can keep up with it.
One of my favorite Richard Hart quotes, and I actually have it on my videos still. I was going to do a thing where I rotate the quote each time I make a video, but this one I like it so much it's stayed for so many videos.
The prom queen.
Hex was banging the prom queen while you walked through the window. It's one of my favorite Richard quotes. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And also Richard on Twitter, he's got a thread on Twitter where he's listed all the scams and rug pulls for the last, I don't know how long. I mean, it's a really old thread. It's been there for, I don't know, it's months, maybe even a year or so.
I think, he made it that he only wanted ones from Hex's launch onwards. So it's basically, it's basically showing months, highlighting how many other things have just been failing and getting wrecked and losing users' funds and scamming people. How crazy that shit is. While Hex has just
and where are they all listed
through just unaffected, no one getting scammed, everything's sweet.
All listed at the top of CoinMarketCap.
They all get a beeline straight for the front of the queue, instant listing. God knows how much they're paying on the back end. But they get front and center.
If they weren't listing so many projects so easily and ones that are so scammy, then I would accept them saying, "Oh, we're just being super cautious. We're unsure whether Hex is a scam or not, so we're not going to list it until we're sure." That would be fair. But that does not happen. It is literally like something that's just being created by some anonymous dev just gets listed straight away.
No, the reason there is a very specific reason why Hex is not listed on on those exchanges, on those coin aggregators. It's because it threatens their model. It threatens the Binance model.
It does.
It threatens the Binance model.
And just on that, before we mentioned SwiftX, they are actually, I think they're a subsidiary of Binance.
Yeah, they tap into the liquidity pools of Binance. Yeah.
Oh, right.
43.
Okay.
I think there's examples that I was surprised by where an exchange will list a token that is a DEX token, and you would think that if they have that sort of anti-competitive attitude, that there's no way that they would list that. But it's insane.
No,
it's like they'll list anything other than
okay.
Hex.
No, I believe there's a strategic reason why they do that.
You think
So if you've got something like Uniswap,
yeah,
and if that, I mean, we've seen how successful it is, and if it continues to be successful, do you not think that they want to have a controlling interest in the governance tokens or anything like that? So that's their way of getting their fingers into that pie. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bloody brought up half the shit when everyone was dumping it, because it was Coinbase listed it and Binance, they were straight onto it, mate. So yeah, that's how else do you get your hooks into the DeFi space?
Yeah, I guess you could
keep your enemies close.
I guess you could argue that if something is truly decentralized, then they don't have an interest in it because it can't be co-opted. So they're like, there's no point us really getting involved in Hex because it's actually unable for them to get any kind of control over it. Whereas all of the fake DeFi, they can actually get some level of control.
Well, if they want to get into Hex, they're going to have to buy it on the market.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah.
You know,
That's
so
the only influence they can have on Hex is they have to soak up enough supply to be able to exert some change over the interest rates and the mechanics, but they can't.
And you know what? That's a tough road for a new crypto to go down. That's a really tough road for something like Hex to go down. But I think in the long term that pays off because you draw people away from that system into this new system and say, hey, you don't even need that stuff. Look at this whole ecosystem. You've got like automated market makers now that don't have people, blocking your funds, and you can play in this game. And look, there's going to be a new one called Pulse really soon. So there's going to be more than one, and there are going to be bridges, and then you're going to be able to jump from one to the other and do all sorts of stuff that has nothing to do with exchanges. So this is just the beginning of a new sort of era in crypto. I mean, we've had this era where exchanges have been these behemoths that control what's going on. I think moving forward, things are going to be changing because I know that everyone I talk to, I tell them about all the cool stuff, all the new stuff. I tell them, like, get your stuff off exchanges, like as soon as you can, just get it off, So I think things are changing, and Richard Hart I see him as a real driving force in the crypto industry for that.
As much as people don't like to admit it, you see his statements and the terminology that he coins, they all pick it up and start using it, and it's pervasive. It gets out, and the things like pumpermentals and stuff like that, it just all gets absorbed into the lexicon. Yeah, it gets absorbed into the lexicon, and everyone starts using it. And they don't even know where it's evolved from in a lot of cases. So, I reckon it's still way underrated. People they still don't get it.
I think one of the best advertisements is price going up. Price going up is an incredible.
Absolutely.
And in fact, what Jeff was saying before about Pulse, sort of whether it was accidental or deliberate, becoming a massive funnel for educating people about Hex because of the overlap in the community and people
pre-viral.
I'm going to get airdropped every ERC20. That's huge. You would need everyone would want to go and make sure whether that's real or not.
Cabana, are you talking about Hex or are you talking about Unwrecked here, mate?
No, mate, I'll be down the VD clinic and got clearance, so I'm good. I'm cleared at the moment.
Mate. I know you're good.
I lost my train of thought now.
We don't need to go there. We need to talk about what the show's, you know, what we're doing here, like with Hex Crypto and that, because like it's just smash the lights out for me. It's like I don't know. It's like it's just amazing.
It is.
Anyway,
It absolutely is. It's
Yeah,
doing
so
crazy
No,
things.
we're talking about the.
I do
the
have a
funnel
question.
for-
I've got a security question though later on. No, later on.
Mm-hmm.
You finished what you guys are talking about with this?
Oh, I was just
So-
going to
Yeah.
say that when when you pulled up that other window with the ranking site, that I had that up deliberately because Hex has actually at 9.3 cents. Hex is now, now we're talking about the cap being 3 billion above the nearest competitor and only 4 behind the next victim. So,
Yep.
it's going to be, and we could do that easily. In fact, we could even, Hex could be a top 3 crypto within, less than a week. Tell me if you think that's too aggressive and ambitious, but I think that's possible.
There is not a big gap between Binance and Tether. That's a pretty slim margin.
Yeah.
With what I've seen in the last month, anything is possible. Anything's
Yeah, if
possible. We could be
If we
top
look at
3 in a
that mark
week.
we were talking about, we would be in the top 3.
What was that? If you get to what, to the 12?
I think at 12 cents, it would be enough for us to be third ranked crypto.
Oh, I thought it flipped. It flipped to number 4. It must have been momentarily at one of the pumps. So I mean, look, it's there. It's it's thereabouts, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. And in fact, I think number 4's price was lower. It might have just been lower around sort of like 340, 350. That might have been enough to allow Hex to just flip it. But it wasn't that. It was only a few days ago that Hex was intermittently flipping into position 7. And now it's a solid position 5.
yeah, right.
So yeah, you guys are right that the caps of these coins are actually close enough together that, and when you think about the volatility of crypto overall, we can't really say that any of these positions are sort of locked in. But yeah, this has been really exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's taken off much quicker than I had ever thought it could. Like, it's just, like, I don't know. I had a sort of a 2.5 year horizon on, like a sort of a very conservative long-term view of saving or investing. And yeah, it's like from the start till now. Well, I heard Richard saying the numbers. I don't know what it was, but it's just crazy, mad gains.
So for the people who are watching, just to give you guys an idea of like what sort of experience level we've got here, we'll start with Hex Tangent. You're a Bitcoin OG. You've been around since 2012, mate. So you've been around the traps a while. You know what's going on in the crypto game, yeah?
Yeah. I guess my claim to fame is that, or not claim to fame, but just like justification of that OG status was. We had a business in Australia selling Bitcoins, but we got goxed. So we were using Mt. Gox, and so we lost everything when that Gox situation happened. And then just sort of rage quit crypto for a bit, and then came back in sort of early to mid 2015. So there was a gap there from mid 2013 to mid 2015 where I wasn't in crypto. Luckily, someone dragged me back in. Very happy to be here. And for impact, Hex is the only crypto that I've ever supported publicly. So I've traded Bitcoins before, but I've never gone out and put my name to anything other than Bitcoin. So up until Hex, I was Bitcoin only in the public sphere, and all my shitcoinery was a guilty side hustle.
I saw one of your streams where you were like saying, "Oh, these geezers were buying Lamborghinis and DB8s and Aston Martins, and then selling tokens for a percentage of and then just driving around."
Oh yeah, I know that project that you're talking about. That project actually launched at the end of the last bull cycle and got absolutely crushed. An Australian team Their first project was an energy-based project, and then they did this one where it's like tokenizing cars, where they could just basically just go around buying Lambos and Aston Martins under the guise that it was a
Tokenized ownership.
but really they owned all the cars and where they were located.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackson,
Thankfully, that one didn't get up.
when did you sort of get in?
I'm relatively new, I think. So I was early 2017. I guess the difference for me is I had a pretty heavy tech background in the security side of things. So when I came into the space, sorry, I'm getting a bit of feedback here. When I came into the space, I brought all that knowledge of the tech world, and I was also doing trading options and things like that. So all the charting and everything flowed across really well. Happened to have a heap of time on my hands at that period. So I was literally 8-10 hours a day just doing full crypto stuff. And ever since then, I've been pretty much full time in crypto. So I've hours in the space is probably up there, I would imagine, in terms of how much time and energy I've put into learning things and what I've been doing. So, yeah.
Well, I probably came in not too far after you. I came in late 2017, and for me, it's just been this steep learning curve. I've just been trying to learn, and it's never ending. It's just every door you open, there's another 5 doors to open and go through. So you really have to allocate. You have to decide what you want to learn about, because it's there's just too much. So Unwrecked, you got in. When did you get in?
October 2019. I just put about a little bit of money into an exchange, and then just shiny thing, bought that, and then got wrecked on trading Bybits or whatever, and then just dumb luck, I suppose, found out about Hex, and just bloody.
I don't think it's dumb luck, mate. I don't think it's dumb luck. There's a saying that luck comes to those who are able to recognize opportunity.
Oh, so, it was definitely. It was like you have that eureka moment where you just went, "This is like you gotta grab this with both hands and take action." And I think it's still the case now.
Man, I reckon that was the best thing. Like you came in without the preconceptions of everything that had happened beforehand in 2017. Yeah. Because everyone else was still a little bit gun shy from that and very wary of new projects, whereas you didn't have that baggage hanging over your head, so it freed you up to come in and
but the way Richard Hart explains it too, the way Richard Hart explained it too was like quite simple for me to understand. Like I'm terrible, like I'm very technically challenged with networking and trying to set up VPNs and servers and all this sort of thing. Like I need a IT person for that. But the way Richard explained the crypto, basically it was almost like you just got to go straight through to the front of the line, and you didn't have to worry about all these other traps and tricks that get people.
Yes.
You learn from a mistake. You don't have to make all those mistakes because it's already been done.
And the point of me like asking everyone what they're, when they got into crypto and all of that was just to demonstrate, like I knew when everyone got in, but it's just really to demonstrate that here there's like, as far as crypto goes, you've got the whole realm of experience. You've got like the OG, you've got like Jexa who came in like early 2017 and saw that bull run. You saw me like, idiot that I am, who bought the top into, the end of 2017. Then you've got like Unwrecked who came in just as Hex was getting started. But what we all did is we all saw value. We've all seen value in Hex. We've all seen the same thing at all these different levels of our, in our crypto journey. So that I thought that's worth pointing out, isn't it?
Definitely. I know it's good roundup. I think so, because.
So you had a security question, Unwrecked.
Well, it was just in relation to hot wallets and things. So if you set up a MetaMask with a seed phrase and then you go to another computer and you restore it from a seed phrase and then you change the password, will that password go back to the old computer?
No.
what happened to the old computer?
It'll be the same accounts. You'll see the same wallets. You'll be able to access everything, but it'll be a different password at each location. So think of the seed phrase is what generates all the accounts. Like it generates all the addresses.
Yeah.
But you've passworded think of MetaMask is actually separate to that. It's just an app on the computer that, the example would be that when Pulse is launched, you'll be able to use your MetaMask also to access the Pulse network and any other EVM compatible networks and that sort of thing. So MetaMask doesn't actually care about your, no. Sorry. That same seed phrase does actually generate the addresses across all the chains. So that was a bad example. But yeah. So if you want the passwords to be the same, you have to change them on both.
So theoretically,
and that password is not required to recover your funds. All you need is the seed phrase. So that
okay. So like I don't know if you guys heard this, but I got robbed a couple of weeks ago, and both of my computers, work computers, and that were stolen, and I do a quick shout out to Crypto Kool-Aid and is it OG Hexagon? They've reached out to me and asked me, give me some good information about like OPEX and is it operational
OPSEC.
Security? Yeah, OPSEC. Sorry.
Did you recover your funds from the seed phrase?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, of course. But I don't want is some nefarious criminals out there looking for A1 hacker to get into this computer so that they can try and tap your MetaMask if they knew. Maybe I don't know. I know they were dummies, but they were dummies for doing what they did. They probably have no idea. But the thing is, right, is that could be like potentially a problem for me if someone got on that computer and they could use the old password that was in there.
They'd have to access the computer. They'd have to be able to switch it on and then type in your password to get in.
Exactly, which they don't have.
Which they won't have.
No, but what I'm saying is the password doesn't change when you restore. So you've just got two separate instances, say on the private keys on any computer, and it can have a different password. If the drive's
encrypted, I don't see like how.
Right. Well, I'll just say this to the viewers:
high level, like forensic people who can. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a stack here. There's a security stack in terms of like the hard drive itself, the operating system, the MetaMask app, but it wasn't behind a hardware wallet. It was just MetaMask. So typically the recommendation would be that you would go and get your seed phrase on a new computer. You would restore the wallet and move the funds to a wallet that is not behind that seed phrase. So new seed phrase. New wallet. However, unfortunately, with hex stakes, you can't move them because they're
precisely exactly right. Hey, but look, So I just think that one thing I learned through investigating, just to sort of like cover all my bases so that I could sleep at night, is a 9-word passphrase is better than a 8-word passphrase exponential. So it might take 5 months to crack or hack into an 8-word password with alphanumeric, and then if you add one more letter, one more digit, 9, and so on, 10, 11, 12, you get it's like 500. It's exponentially harder.
If they try to brute force your password. Have you looked into how MetaMask works in terms of like number of tries, whether it ever terminates you if you try wrong too many times?
Don't think it does.
I haven't looked into it.
Yeah,
I guess
I failed maths at school.
So,
but
I think MetaMask is a good tool for day-to-day use, but not for long-term stakes. There's too many mistakes guys that don't understand the security side of things can make with MetaMask. Just not through any fault of their own, but just because it gives you a little bit too much freedom. And
if you use it in combination with a hardware wallet, then I think it's fine.
Oh yeah.
But
Don't get me wrong.
You're just using it as the interface to interact with smart contracts.
So,
But yeah, having a MetaMask that does not have a hardware wallet, so you're actually literally your MetaMask account is the direct account.
yeah.
Like you said, it's more of a hot wallet.
So yeah.
Once the funds become worth a lot of money, it's quite
So
scary.
the way I describe that, it's like driving without a seatbelt. So that when you're using MetaMask without a hardware wallet, there's more convenience, which is arguable. But then
that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, but when you've got your hardware wallet,
you some time each time you're getting in and out of the car, it's one less thing to do. You don't have to click the button to sign the transactions, so you get like this minor improvement in convenience and reduced friction. But then if you have a car accident, you are just absolutely
you're going through the windscreen. And so what we find a lot. So I spend a lot of time in Hex Security, and then shout out to all the guys that are in there every day helping all the Hexicans when they come in. Unfortunately, Hexicans come into that group too late. They come in after something's happened and say, "Oh, this has happened. How can I fix this?" You got to get ahead of this, guys. Your stakes are going to be too valuable. You've got to get in front of this, and if you're not using a hardware wallet now, at least do things you can. So I use the term triage. So if you've done things in MetaMask, it's not all too late. You can make it better. It'll never be as good as starting off with a native hardware wallet, but you can make it better and exponentially better. And then you can also build other things on the top of using your hardware wallet. So when a stake does end, you can put it behind what we call passphrases and things like that, which just add another layer of security over the top of your hardware device. Now's the time to sort that shit out. Don't wait till they're worth millions and then your computer crashes or what we see, without a doubt, the absolute most common thing we see in Hex Security is people that have input their seed words into a fake MetaMask site or something along those lines.
Phishing scam.
And it kills me because I can see the way the conversation is going to go. As soon as they enter the chat, they post one little couple of lines and you go, fuck, these guys have lost everything. And then they've got to go through and you've got to explain to them why they've lost everything.
Well, that's not a nice feeling, by the way. It's not a nice feeling. And I would say, like, to everyone out there, listen to Jexa, listen to the experience these guys are giving out, because I sort of like had that sort of feeling, and it didn't happen, but if it did, geez, it would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Jexa, do you want to? What is this? Is your site, isn't it? Hexsafe.win.
So I created hexsafe.win. Within the first couple of months of Hex being launched, because I could just see where there was a bit of a gap where people were talking about things in hex.com chat, and I could see that they just clearly didn't understand the security side of things. So I've made a whole heap of free videos that you can go and watch, and I go through from the very basics. So if you know absolutely nothing about crypto and wallets and things like that, you can start off at level 0 and work your way through up to level 2, which goes into some pretty advanced topics and some advanced ways you can distribute your seed phrases. And
this is a free resource, by the way, guys. This is you don't have to pay for this. You can just go and use it, and this is real security stuff that's going to help you be secure with your crypto moving forward.
Yep.
This website's awesome. Well done.
Yeah, no, cool. I will do a shell off.
I was just going to ask about those. The you can have a hardware wallet, but what about storing your seed phrase on something a bit more permanent than like a piece of paper?
Yep. So with your seed words, they are literally the keys to the vault. If you don't know that by now, you really need to get an understanding of that. So what I've been doing in the background is I need tools for myself. So when I'm making the tools for myself, I build them so that other people are going to be able to use them. So this is one thing I've literally just had all the full production run hit my office this morning. So they're steel plates for storing your seed phrase on, and also a passphrase if you've got a passphrase. These are cheap as shit compared to everything else on the market. So if you've got multiple seed words, it's affordable to back them up, guys. So jump on there, check it out. You can pay in Hex if you want as well. I just want to make it really available to stop people losing their seeds and doing dumb shit. So make sure you're looking after these things. But yeah, go check out hexsafe.win and also the sister site, which is mine at bradshawknox.com, which has the seed vault on there.
Nice.
Yep.
Shout out to Baller G. Is that right? Baller G? Super sticker. What is this? Is this something I should know about, guys?
I'm not sure.
This looks. I see three GBP, Great Britain pounds, right? That's right. Well, thank you very much, mate. We appreciate that.
Yeah, this is awesome. The comment I wanted to make before is that you can, so say you're in a situation where you started off with MetaMask and not using a hardware wallet, you can still start to implement, you can go to this website, start to implement some of these steps and you start with your liquid hex, which means if someone does get into your MetaMask, all they've really got all they can really do is just emergency end stake. And so it's more like vandalism than theft. They can wreck your stakes, but they won't be able to take your liquid, and they won't be able to get the money out of the stake, because if they end it prematurely, there won't be much to steal. And then I think Jackson might have been saying this earlier, then as your stakes end, every time a stake ends, you move that liquid hex over to the behind the hardware wallet and create your stakes over there. So over time, you'll eventually get to a point where all of your stuff will be behind a hardware wallet. Unfortunately, for some people who have made like 10, 15 year stakes, that is going to be a long process.
Yeah, so there is a triage section on this video though, where you take your MetaMask seed and actually import that into either a Ledger or a Trezor. So at least you're getting it off a computer, and then because every time you have to reveal your seed words on your computer, whether you're restoring a MetaMask account or whatever,
that's a really good point.
This gets it off, and it's not ideal because at some point it's been on your computer, but it's the next best thing, and you'll be able to sleep a lot better at night knowing that it's sitting in a hardware wallet and not on your computer.
And then, a move like that would have protected Unrect, because his threat vector at the moment is someone loading the computer up and logging into that MetaMask. So if you did what you just said, that would no longer be a threat, because that MetaMask wouldn't exist anymore. You just delete the shit out of it.
So I just want to address, someone's put a comment in now saying uninstall MetaMask once your stakes are done and then reinstall when ending. Great in theory, but every time you pull those seed words out and restore them, how do you know you haven't got someone key logging or whatever on your computer?
Yeah,
every time you expose those seed words, you are risking your funds.
Yeah. You're addressing one risk and opening yourself up to a new risk. So all you're doing is you're just shifting where the risk is rather than actually solving it.
Yep.
And Kinetics has made a good point here. Never put your seed where it doesn't belong, as my wife likes to remind me all the time, mate.
Well, when you lock
there's
down.
more than your stakes.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Yeah, it might seem like a good idea to then just reinstall the MetaMask and type in. But once you take that MetaMask off, you might as well just restore it into a hardware wallet at that point.
That's right.
And then you're signing transactions offline. It's no longer a hot wallet. You know, if it hasn't been compromised at that point, then you're in the clear. You know.
But that's the sort of thing that all hexagons should be thinking about, and that's protecting your operational security and making sure that your seed phrase is locked down and your accounts are locked down so they can't be tapped.
It's amazing how many people have reached out to me now going, Jexo, this is getting a bit serious, dude.
It's scary. It's scary what could go wrong, especially when it gets to a lot of money. Sorry, I'm eating a Golden Gate on. But
there's an old story from a Bitcoin OG where he was basically saying he introduced a very wealthy friend of his to Bitcoin, and the guy bought an amount of Bitcoin that was not a big deal for him. It might have been an amount that's a big deal for normal people, but for this guy, it wasn't that big a deal. And then it grew. So his OPSEC was effectively like what we might use to secure like less than $100. And then it grew and grew and grew, but he never upgraded his security to match the growth of the asset itself. And so, I mean, you could imagine with Hex's
There'll be
price
lots of guys like that.
over 2,500x,
Yeah.
you know, people maybe thought that it was, you know, just play money. And then suddenly that, you know, at 2,500x, what is it, like $100 turns into like 50 grand or something crazy. Oh shit. But basically that math was wrong, by the way. But the point is that you want to set
I'm
up
not real good. I'm not real good at math, and I thought it was wrong.
I think it might be 25 grand. Like, sorry, yeah, $100 might be 25 grand or something like that at 2,500x. But you effectively want to preemptively make the security for what you optimistically believe that asset might be worth in the future, rather than what it is currently worth at the time that you buy it.
Well, I mean, that was the one thing that was really good at the start, when, you know, you get like concern trolls and sending you memos and stuff like this, and it's like you're immune to all of that, because it's just like your play money. It's like your side hustle. It was what it was like for me. So I didn't care what people told me. They're like, "Oh, you're going to lose your money." Yeah. I had people writing me a message saying, you know, why are you investing in Hex? And then I'm like, well, it's none of your business where I put my money in it. Like,
Hey, Unwrecked, I've got a question for you, mate.
what?
Out of like between 1 and 10, how much do you like a gay time?
I say to my missus, I'll make her vagina taste like a fucking gay time, and I'll be down there.
On the maiden voyage, we're going to get the whole channel shut down.
Kinetics is on speed dial charge E3, waking him up. Just go, you got to get these guys off.
You're not allowed to say vagina. Aren't you allowed to say vagina on TV?
Can you imagine?
I think it was a bit about the
That's funny.
This is a Cocoa Pop one. This is a Cocoa Pop gay time, this one.
For anyone who's confused about what we're talking about, in Australia, we've got an ice cream that's been around since before gay was about homosexuals. It's called a golden gay time, and Unwrecked loves them. He eats one every day.
1 box a day. Yep. Breakfast of champions. Breakfast of champions. I eat a whole box.
So Kinetics is like stream shutting off in 3, 2.
Hey,
You're going to be sorry you opened the floodgates, Kinetics.
those guys were way worse. They were talking about like horses, cocks, and things.
Yeah.
Hey, on that note, guys, we've been going for about an hour and a half. I think it's been a great first stream on the Discourse Syndicate channel. We appreciate being invited on, and we look forward to many more streams on Tuesday evening our time, but I think it might be Tuesday morning in the US. Is that right? And maybe around midday in Europe. So yeah, thanks Hex Tangent, thanks Jexa, thanks Unwrecked Pirate, thanks to Blue Bum who was on. Any parting words?
Past my bedtime. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I'll just jump in there then, because like, you know, it is like, what's the thing with the Tuesday and then at 9:30 at night? That was just how we just brung what you just run what you brung sort of thing, and yeah, that's all right. So we come once a week doing the same thing.
Yeah,
on the Discourse Syndicate Network.
That's it.
So
Well,
this
yeah,
will be our regular time slot.
Right,
Yep. So come and watch us, guys.
it might
Quick
get
chill.
changed, but we got some
Quick
ideas.
chill.
Hey?
If anyone wants to follow my TA channel, where I basically do what we did briefly here with those price charts, I do that every few days with Hex, and I'm planning to do it for Pulse PRC20 tokens once they start to fire up. And so that's just on YouTube, same as the name that I've got on here, Hex_Tangent.
Don't think I didn't see you trying to troll for information from Chris Bleck too.
Me? Oh, did you? Oh, you saw that? Well, that guy's on a mission. That guy's on a mission against DeFi projects that have admin keys, particularly the God mode admin keys. And when I was on my mission to try and find projects that are going to successfully move over to Pulse because of their decentralization. And by the way, I haven't found any. I haven't found a single project.
I agree with you, mate.
I've
done the same thing.
Does not have admin keys. I found a maybe, and I'm not going to say what it is.
That Uniswap.
You know, it's a privacy focused project that is specifically to do with privacy. So you would think that they shouldn't have admin keys, and yet I'm seeing mixed reports of whether they do or not. Like their website claims that they don't, but this Chris guy, he actually has a post saying that they do have an admin key for certain things, which is not great. It's not a God mode admin key like most of the projects have.
Yep.
He made a really good point.
Pretty scary when you look through it and you're actually really trying to find ones that don't have.
Really scary that basically no DeFi projects that I've been able to find, particularly not the top ones that everyone has got a lot of money invested in. Hex is the only one that I've been able to find with certainty does not have admin keys. That is insane. And you know, look, the defense that he gave, which I agree is a fairly good defense as to why a project has to do it, or why they initially do it as a temporary measure, is these devs are concerned that because they're playing with people's money, like the money's involved, if there's a problem, they don't want people to be like, hey, there's a problem, we need to fix this, and them to be saying, sorry, there's no admin keys, like we're cooked here. So yeah, fair and like, as in, that's a reasonable comment, but the problem is that is not a good enough reason for the future problem in terms of regulators coming in and starting to cause issues. You need to have no control. You need to you can't say I won't do this. You have to say I can't do this, and it needs to be true. So any DeFi project that has admin keys, it's fake DeFi. So
that's why Hex took 2 years to build.
Yep.
Triple ordered security. It is the best crypto already. You know, in my eyes, I don't know. But
I agree with you, man. I agree with you on that.
Like hands down, it's like they always you hear the Bitcoin maxis talking about, like that interview on the weekend with was that Floyd Mayweather, and he's like, I just believe there's something other than Bitcoin's going to be the one to come through and take the win. And hey, maybe it's Hex. I think it would be. Hex is like better than Bitcoin in my opinion. Not that I'm not a Bitcoin basher or anything like that. I like Bitcoin, and I like the crypto ethos. I like the being able to peer-to-peer trustless interest. I like so much like liberation in Hex to me. You know,
something that Hex did that allowed it to actually have no admin keys was keeping it simple. So a lot of these projects, the reason they need admin keys is because the stuff they're doing is absolutely insane, like insane complexity. And so something's bound to go wrong. And, you know, you heard Richard say how Hex was actually harder than he even expected. And all it's doing is something that's actually quite simple, right? It's just, well, it sounds simple. You're just paying interest based on length of time staked and the amount staked, right? So that the math, you could almost do it in your head, what would be required for something like that. And a developer could probably almost like ballpark code it in their head. And yet it's more complex than you would expect. But then these other projects, the things they're doing are just far too complex to not have bugs. And so it's just super ambitious. And so I think you can't just go from something like Bitcoin that had next to no complexity, all you can do is send it and hold it, to these projects where they're trying to basically recreate complex components of the legacy financial system. The better way to do it, and I know I'm saying this with hindsight, is to take baby steps. So Richard's gone, okay, what's something that's simple, basic, that's absolutely required, has a high total addressable market, and let's make that step. And then so if we had done it like that as a community, as crypto as a whole, had taken these smaller steps, and then you learn those lessons along the way as you branch out and become more and more complex. But some of these projects have just jumped to like such high level complexity. It's just, it's hectic.
Oh, those Telegram rooms as well. Oh, gee whiz, they're not nice to go in, eh? I like the Hex chats are really good, but some of those projects, oh God, I'd hate to put my money and have my money in any of those.
I get annoyed in any other group, in any other Telegram group other than Hex, because they don't stay on point. Like in Hex, people are talking about Hex in the Hex Telegram group. In any other cryptos Telegram, people are posting cat memes and talking about other projects, and I'm just like, I'm all for not having censorship, right? I'm a libertarian. I'm a voluntarist. I don't believe in censorship, but I mean, come on, at least ask the community to not start, because it just floods the chat with all this stuff that's nothing to do with the project. It makes it so difficult to stay in
get information. To get the information, and you waste time trying to troll through.
Exactly.
And that precedent, that culture has been set by Richard Hart at the top.
100%.
He's modelled that. He's done with his self-help and all of the great stuff that he does with the Skyvive and that, and like all the testimonies and people. As the more that sort of comes out of the woodwork, then that creates that what you're saying before, Tangent, about the bullish. It's very bullish because when you're at the high point, it's bullish and then there are other people seeing that people are actually being successful and changing their life, and that they can sell that the market's, like Hex is that good. It's the best crypto, like, to me. That's what I think. And oh geez, I went off me rail there just a little bit, but it was something else. Day 43. Good to see you guys. It's been a while.
It has been a while, mate.
Good to see you guys. Look,
rusty.
I just want to say shout out to the chat. You guys have been awesome tonight. You've been awesome. We love you. And thanks to everyone for tonight. It's been great chatting to you. And we will see you guys next week.
Blue Bum, pay internet.
Sounds good. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.